Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would film a video that would be dedicated to someone in my life who asked me this question, and I've been continually trying to not coach but give advice to, and I thought let me just try and nail it into a video. I haven't got any major notes on this, so we're gonna roll with it. It is, how do you figure out your diet, and how did I personally build a better relationship with food, and how also did I discover what foods I like. So let's throw it back. This is only my experience, so I can't speak on behalf of other people, but I personally, so between the ages of 11 and I'd say about 18, I just ate to eat food and just to eat. And I can't explain it, like I just had no like or dislike to foods. Well, I couldn't have milk, and I didn't really like pasta or spaghetti, but I used to just eat to live, and I couldn't explain it to anyone. And it was only when I went to India, so that was 4 years ago now, that I realized, okay, 3 or 4 years ago, let me figure out what actually works. And it seemed to me like it's a journey. So still to this day, I'm rediscovering foods, and I feel like it's something that you have to teach yourself. It's a personal journey. So I thought I'd devise some tips and give you my story on it. So hopefully that could help someone out there. So the first thing I did was I discovered what I like and dislike. So I tried to see foods that I would more gravitate towards. So for example, when I went out to a restaurant, I used to pick fish over meat. So I thought, if I don't really like meat that much, why am I still eating it? That was my choice. So I now don't eat chicken or anything like that, but I still do eat fish because I do enjoy fish. And also being allergic or not being able to tolerate gluten, it kind of would very much limit my options, because dairy and gluten, to then take out fish as a major, like, it's my personal opinion, I'd struggle. But that was the first big decision. I decided, okay, let's go by macro sources. So you've got your proteins, your fats and your carbs. Let's go with the protein. So we're talking about that first. I cut out meat, and I started eating fish. And there's so many other types of protein. So you've got loads of plant proteins, beans, lentils, chickpeas, aspects of that. So yes, I am limiting my options, but then I'm enjoying what I'm eating. The second category I'd talk about is carbs. So what does your energy body get fueled with the best? So for example, does your body best run on fats? So for example, nuts and avocado, or does it run best on carbs? I have done both. So I've done predominantly fats and predominantly carbs. My body definitely reacts better a lot to carbs. My brain works better. My body, I feel, looks better. Everything just looks better. So then I decided to think, okay, so what in carbs do I like? I didn't really like the way potatoes made my body feel. So for example, I'd feel tired after eating potatoes. It's just an example, normal, regular baby potatoes. I wouldn't really care if I had them, or I wouldn't really miss them. So I thought, let me try sweet potato. Sweet potato has numerous health benefits attached to them. I like the taste. I can experiment with them, bake, boil. I can season them with smoked paprika or cinnamon or nutmeg. Either combination work, a combination together work. I could eat them by themselves. I really like sweet potato. Another example would be, I didn't really care for rice. Brown rice made me feel a bit sluggish and a bit tired. So I moved on to buckwheat and quinoa and other alternatives. Although quinoa is a protein, it is also seen as a carb, so it's between both. I like the way that I feel after food. I made sure that I felt not sluggish. Obviously, if I overeat, which everyone does, and I definitely do. For example, Christmas, I was lying on the floor because I ate too much. But figure out what actually works for you. So go through your diet keep a diary for what you actually eat over a week if it does change, and then write how you felt afterwards. So about half an hour to 40 minutes afterwards, did you feel energized? Did you feel like you're still hungry? Did you eat enough? Did you overeat? Did you undereat? There's so many different categories that come into this. And then third source is, it's really important for everyone to incorporate fats into their diet. Now, a lot of people have been scared of fats in the past because they think healthy fats make them fat. But actually, avocado and nuts and things like that are very, very important for women and both men for hormone regulations. And personally, with someone who has a hormone, irregularity, it's extremely important that I actually do have fats in my diet. So only in the it's since May the 1st, I started incorporating avocado back into my diet. So my fats have suddenly gone back up, and I'm day 7 on this now or something, or 6. I'm feeling the difference already. And fats also promote healthy hair growth, healthy nail growth. There's so many different contributions that fats go into. So find what works for you. For example, I would pick nuts over avocado any day because I love the taste of nuts. I love walnuts and almonds. They're my 2 favorite. I don't like salted nuts. Have the purest form of the food. So if you do like salted nuts, roast the nuts yourself. So literally grab, let's say 100 grams of almonds, chuck them in a pan, put a bit of pink Himalayan sea salt on, then you can control how much salt goes in there. Also, when you buy packs of salted peanuts, for example, you don't know what other ingredients are in that packet, okay? It's extremely important. The other important factor, so that's that bit. So what do you like? Fats, protein, carbs. The other important aspect of it is, how often do you like to eat? What do you like to eat? Do you like to eat 3 meals and snack in between? Do you like 5 meals? Do you like 6 meals? How much time do you have for it? It's something that I would say is extremely important to try and find out the times you like to eat. Do you like to fast until 12 o'clock? Do you like to eat within the first half an hour? When do you work out, if you work out? When do you work out? Do you work out first thing? Do you like working out late at night? This time, utilize it to figure out what works for you and develop that better relationship with food. Now, everyone I know, let's say 60 to 70% of people that I know are still on a journey with figuring out what's going on. You might find a new type of, fish that you prefer eating, and you can incorporate that into it. So for example, with me, let's throw it back. I was always brought up with breakfast, lunch and dinner. I always had 3 meals. I had a snack in between. My snacks were either square bars growing up, or Kit Kats, or crisps. I was more the sweet side though. Don't get wrong. And then only in the last 3-4 years, I moved from 4 meals a day. So it'd be 3 major meals and a little meal in the evening and a few snacks. And then the last 7 months, I've been 5 meals a day, no snacks. I love to eat. I figured out I actually love food and I love to be continually eating. So I like to wait a little bit in the morning to eat, put out of my personal preference, and then eat every 3 to 4 hours after that in intervals. And then I'm always eating and I'm always excited to eat. You want to make sure that your foods are exciting for you. Obviously, when you're on a diet like I am, for example, it can get a bit repetitive, but find out new seasoning ways, new ways to cook it, boil it, bake it, fry it. There's different ways to cook foods. So I feel like that's extremely important as well. When you are rediscovering food or discovering food for the first time, it's all trial and error. And I feel like that's so important for people to realize. Very few people are going to figure out in the first place, because then you'll have nothing to compare it to. I think personally, starting off with what foods you're on, then what can you change, then how can you improve it is extremely important. Sorry, I'm going to check my phone just in case I've missed anything. So, to build a better relationship with food, don't be scared of trying new things. If you have allergies, for example, that already cancels out certain food groups. So for me, it's cancelling out the whole, gluten. So I don't eat a lot of processed foods anyway, but I know for me, I like to have food on hand. If I'm hungry, I want to eat there and then. I don't want to have to wait all the time. Sometimes I do enjoy cooking if I'm less hungry, but especially days I weight train, I am hungry and I do want to eat. So I don't really want to be waiting for my food for like 35 minutes all the time. So meal prep really works well for me. For some other people, maybe cooking every day, they really enjoy it and they have the time for it. But always having food regularly available is extremely important as well. I feel as if when you are trying to build a better relationship with food, enjoy what you're eating, because it's such an important part. And it's something I've only discovered in the last like 3 or 4 years, that, you know, sitting down and just taking 2 to 3 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of your time to enjoy the food that's in front of you is extremely important. It all goes back to this holistic nutrition approach of, from the moment that you smell it, cut it, cook it, eat it, that's all one process of eating. It's not just eating the actual food. Obviously, sometimes I do heat it up in the microwave, I'm not gonna lie, or I do just eat it cold, and that's purely because of time. But then I know what goes into my foods and what works for me. So that's the advice I'd give anyone who's on a rediscovering food journey. It's so important for everyone to realize how important it is to enjoy your foods. For example, as you know from one of my previous videos, I would never give up chocolate, okay? I'm gonna put my hands up. Something big would happen, like there would be no chocolate left if I was to give up chocolate. I know I love chocolate, but then I thought, okay, I can get quite obsessive about it, as I do with everything. And okay, so what can I get? I can get the Choco Teas by Yogi Tea. Obviously put it on my Instagram, check my Instagram out. But that was such a good way of having cacao, which is the purest form of chocolate, in a drink. So it kind of sufficed my cravings. Don't ever suppress your body for your cravings, because you're just going to want to have it more. So for example, if you really keep thinking about, I really want pancakes, and then you don't allow yourself the pancakes, you're going to then, when you go out to eat or get exposed to it, you're going to go mad. And I've seen it happen. I've done it so many times. I've been on such a strict diet that I wouldn't say I thoroughly enjoyed, through meal plans and things that I'd done by my coach, and I just went out and I just went a bit mad. And it's okay to do that. I feel like people expect yourself to be 100% on track all the time. No, that's not it. As long as you're doing it 80, 90% of the time, and then that 10% leeway, you're just having a bit of time to yourself, and you just feel like, okay, I'm out with friends or I'm at a social event and I do want to enjoy my food, then go and enjoy it. But a lot of people, especially within the health and wellness and fitness industry, they are always promoting good foods, which is fantastic. But then don't beat yourself up about it, because binge eating, obsessive eating, all of the non-healthy relationship food disorders, I call them, if the first thing is to highlight that, and I've kind of gone on a tangent on how to build a better relationship with food, but this does fall into the category, don't become restrictive when you do have a better relationship with food. Fuel your body with what suits you best. Yes, it's great to have a tailor-made plan, but there is not one plan that fits all. My exercise activity might be higher than someone else's, so I might need more food, and it also depends on what you like to eat. So remember that everyone is on their own journey, and rediscovering food is a whole process, but dedicate the time. So for example, with me, I've decided to rediscover food this year, so 2020, and I would pick one. So a great example is in March, I rediscovered ways to cook my oats. So I would make sure that I was cooking oatmeal bake, oatmeal, different ways of incorporating it, pancakes. So I'd get over my fear of eating, for example, a pancake. And it sounds funny, get over my fear. But my fear is that it would make me ill, or because obviously I had such bad stomach problems, especially when I didn't know what I was allergic to, and the pain I would get in would be so so painful. I would literally just be curled up in a ball for so many hours. And now I feel like I am cooking my pancakes myself. I know what goes in there. It's so much better. Also, another example would be, I used to be scared of milkshakes because I used to get so ill after drinking a milkshake, vanilla milkshake from McDonald's. You know, they were my favourite growing up. I absolutely loved them, especially in sixth form. I used to eat them all the time, like drink them all the time, which is probably the worst thing because they have so much sugar in now. But now I make my own shakes in the morning. I put vegan protein powder, I put banana to make it a bit thicker. I like blueberries. I like to see a lot of food on my plate, okay? I like to see high volume foods. I like to see a big shake in the morning. So although I like a thicker shake, I actually in the morning, I just want to see one of the big NutriBullet shake glasses. And to me, that's just ideal. So I know I like to see, you know, bigger foods. So I have to eat calorie dense? No, that means a lot of, like, not basically volume foods. That's what the word I was looking for. I like to see volume foods. So I like to see foods that are slightly less in calories, but I can eat more of them because I like to see that. But everyone is different, and finding out what works for you is just, I feel like you're always going to be doing it, you know? I don't personally see myself going back to meat. I would love to try a completely raw plant-based diet. I feel if I am going to go, you know, vegan or plant-based, it would be raw, but I would have to do it in Asia, for example, or somewhere that is more sustainable, because doing it in the UK, for example, it's really expensive. It's really expensive to become a raw vegan. Plus, half the vegetables and fruits that I like to eat, we don't grow here. So then the transport costs and the pesticides and the, you know, to preserve them even longer, could be a longer like chain of process, their supply chain. So I want to go somewhere where I can access most of these foods perfectly. And India, for example, was a good example of that, because you literally walk down the street, you get this big watermelon that's the size of like this for like equivalent of like £3-4 in England. In England, a watermelon that size would cost about £8-9 and would have already been transported in. So location is a really good understanding of where you are in the world and what you grow in that country and what can you utilize. That's also another, for me, it's important to know where my food comes from. So yeah, God, I've done a lot of talking, haven't I? Building a better relationship with food, I feel, is an important part of life, and figuring out what you like to eat is, I think it should be studied by everyone. And it's only since I met someone in my life about 4 years ago, I realized, why am I just eating chicken Kievs? And there's a few people that can relate to this. At university in first year, I used to have chicken Kiev and 2 bits of garlic bread, and that would be, I'd be fine with that. But I actually like the garlic out of the chicken Kiev now, and the breadcrumbs, because I like crunch in near enough every one of my meals. And I really like garlic bread because of the garlic as well. They were garlic chicken Kievs, by the way. And I like the easy access of waiting for it in the oven. So why don't I implement that into a meal that I know that I'm gonna fuel my body the right way and I feel good after? It's not just about fueling your body, but it's fueling your whole body. So your brain as well, your body, like every part of you wants to make sure that you want to be excited to eat. So I hope this video helped a little bit on how to build a better relationship with food. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And please give me a like and a subscribe on my YouTube channel. It will really help me out. As well as a subscribe on my Instagram, which I will leave down below. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions on this topic, DM me. My contact links are all in every video description on YouTube. I'll be more than happy to try and help as much as I can. But yes, thank you for watching. See you next time.